During my time at Summer Games Fest this year, I played the new Granblue Fantasy Relink expansion, Endless Ragnarok. I tried the new difficulty quests, the new summons, a new character, and the new roguelike mode as well. But for those that don't know, Endless Ragnarok is a big expansion to Relink. 6 new characters, new bosses, they add crossplay. According to the devs, this whole thing is between 25 to 30 hours of new content, and that is if you rush through it all. But for my demo, they had plenty of tutorials set up, so we can actually see most of the stuff as we simply go through it. As soon as I started, I was dropped straight into a cutscene, a conversation between Xiaofan and Gran next to the quest giver, as she assigns us a new level of quest, the Chaos levels. This is the new difficulty you can tackle solo or in co-op. She shows you the intro cutscene to Endless Ragnarok, teasing a few bosses along the way, such as Beelzebub, and then we're dropped into the lobby. But before we can freely try this new difficulty, we have to go through a tutorial quest where we have to play as Gran. We do fight against a somewhat familiar foe. If you've played Relink before, I'm sure you've seen a Quakedile, but not quite like this. They usually have an element attached to them like earth, ice, or fire, but these are the new Ragnalia type bosses, and they sure have some new and unique attacks, as you're about to see. Now, I'm not a big Gran player, okay? No judging my skills as Gran, gotta put that out there, but here comes one of the new mechanics on this boss. Bosses in Chaos difficulty are capable of devastating special attacks. You can tell if they shine purple, run away. Now, this big spinning attack actually has a vacuum effect. The wind is actually pulling me in as he spins across the whole stage, and we just gotta wait for him to bash his head against the wall, and then we can go in for some big punishment. The fight is not so different so far, but very soon we're gonna get to see some of the new mechanics in play. A lot of this boss's moveset is gonna be very similar to the other Quakediles, but once in a while, he'll throw something new, like that big attack that you guys saw earlier. Now, one of the new mechanics you're gonna be able to use in Endless Ragnarok is summons, and this mission is about to teach us how that works. By hitting R1, which is usually the skills button, and then the D-pad, you can select one of 4 equipped summons, and then you become completely invincible. You only become the summon for a limited amount of time, but you can use it to tank any boss attacks because the timer doesn't go down, the summon doesn't take damage, and it is really, really powerful. In this case, you have a rush move and a combo attack if you look at the bottom right, and I'm gonna be able to show you some other summons that I equip later on, so you can take a look at how they might differ. But according to the dev team, there are more than 100 summons at your disposal. Not all of them are gonna be big monsters. Some are just dudes that are there to like buff you or heal you, so there will be a lot of variety for sure. The summon meter is on the bottom left. The 4 crystals are the 4 summons that you can equip if you want. None of them are available. We only have Furicane equipped right now, and it costs 3 bars a meter, so there are different costs for different summons too. The bar is shared for the whole party though, so I wonder how that's gonna work in co-op, because I bet some people are gonna try to steal the summon for themselves. But here is where we go into the next new mechanic. If you reach 100% Link mode, as usual, we will go into slow motion. Time will be slowed, but this time during Endless Ragnarok, you also enable Primal Burst. Now, Primal Burst doesn't do anything by just being enabled, but the next time we use Skybound Arts, if Primal Burst is ready, Lyria is gonna come in and finish the job, as if she was the 5th member of the crew throwing her big ultimate attack. So here we go. Let's unleash all of our SSBAs, and as usual, if all 4 characters do it, we get a big final burst of damage at the end of all of the animations. But now, you can see that Lyria's picture is also going to show up there, and after that animation, we're going to see her summon the big Bahamut, and with a big, beautiful animation, he's gonna unleash that beam on the Quakedile below. That's gotta hurt. Quakedile breaks, but since this is just a tutorial mission, that's where the fight is gonna end. So, 2 new big mechanics, summons and Primal Burst already introduced. We go back to the menu and we can actually take a look at the menus so we can equip more summons. I got Menegarmer right here. He only attacks with square. This is the next summon that we're going to take a look at. But we're also going to equip the Rock Golem. Even if we don't use the Rock Golem or any other summons though, notice that they give us sigils. They are giving us stats, so just having Rock Golem here is going to give us auto revive, meaning summons aren't useless if you happen to have another party member use the summon instead of you. They're still acting as equipment, they're still buffing your character. And from one new mechanic to the next, we are going to talk about master traits now. Now, master traits become unlocked after your character reaches level 100, and they are a way for you to specialize into a specific playstyle with each character. Each character is going to have 3 different master traits. Gran here has the following, for instance: Artful Adept, it increases his damage based on his arts level, and at max level his skill cooldowns are reduced. The Substitute, whenever Gran takes damage in place of an ally with his Substitute skill, he gains a damage buff. And then we have Combat Healer, which buffs his attack and damage cap after casting a healing spell. As you could probably tell, these 3 traits are very specific to Gran, and they've made 3 of these for every character in the game. The idea here is to disrupt the meta. The developer said that many skills in this game have become underutilized for being considered weak as metas developed over time, and they wanted to give players a way to make those skills more viable. If they want to pick the master trait that specializes on that skill, now they can, because it's going to make that skill a lot stronger. So they kind of came up with 3 different playstyles for every single character, depending on what you like to do. But on top of that, you can even mix masteries to have more of a hybrid build if you want. I didn't have a ton of time to dig into that specifically, so I don't know how viable that is. And if at any point you regret your choices, it's going to be very easy to switch your master traits from one to another. At the end of the day, you'll be able to unlock all of the master traits, but which ones you have equipped, that's what's going to determine how you play the game. But up next, we're going to try one of the new Chaos difficulty missions. This time, no hand holding, no tutorial, and I went for Galanza, who was built like this. Yeah, I think we're gonna be fine. As we approach the quest giver, she lets us know that summons aren't always allowed in missions. They need a little indicator that looks like that crystal right there. But all the missions I saw in this demo had that little indicator, so I believe most of them will have summons enabled. And off we go to our first Chaos difficulty boss fight, which is a floating eyeball. For this mission, I want to mostly take you through what Galanza does from the time I had with him, obviously. We're going to skip the tutorials right here because I think what the tutorials say is pretty easy to explain. As soon as we land an attack, you will see a new gauge pop up for Galanza. So as soon as we land that light attack, you just saw that golden bar popping up. 3 attacks and it's already like 25% of the way filled. And skills also fill it up, but from what I could tell, attacks fill it up more. You want to fill up this bar. Look at that perfect dodge, baby. Beautiful. You want to fill up this bar because it's going to enhance Galanza's basic attacks. Basic attacks are going to become crazy for this character. They are right now slow, very powerful. His square into triangle combos are pretty standard. You can hold the triangle button. It kind of does a little spin to win, and the longer you hold it, the stronger the finisher becomes. This boss is going absolutely nuts with this dash. This dash attack is kind of crazy. It's pretty fast. But now that he's down, we are going to use another one of his skills, which I believe is Impale, which is the skill I have equipped on my circle button. Actually, no, this is the triangle button, the plunge. I love it. It has 2 attacks, one once you land and another one once he causes the explosion. If you ever fought the Galanza boss fight, it is one of the moves that he uses. But now that the bar is full, Deathmatch Finale is what this is called, and he just starts jumping over and over, and you can hold down triangle to spin to win and do a ton of damage like that. The bar is depleting over time, but you want to be in this state with Galanza. This is when most of his damage comes out. I'm sure one of his master traits, I didn't have the chance to look at it, actually. I'm sure of one of his master traits, this is crazy. How did I survive this? The crazy perfect dodge again. I didn't notice the spin to win from the boss doing the iceberg. It is a common mechanic we've seen before in these types of enemies. This one also has it, along with that new dash move, right? That's a new one to this boss as far as I remember. But the spinning ice, it's always a challenge. But as I was saying, that is the X skill that I have equipped. You mash it to increase the damage. The Impale skill, I think, just has multiple stocks, so you have to throw it 2 or 3 times, I believe. And here, I think I'm hiding behind this crystal. Guess what? That's gonna get broken, bro. Still gotta dodge, but I think we have auto revive. This tutorial is just telling us, hey, you can mash or use potion. Actually, new mechanic on this expansion right here. You no longer need to mash the self-revive. I have auto-revive equipped, so I didn't have to do any of that. But I didn't have to mash to self-revive here. You don't have to do that anymore. You can just hold the button, which is a nice quality of life change for Relink. If you know, you know. Mashing the button every time you go down, that got annoying pretty damn quickly. But here we go. We're going to activate the new mode again, Deathmatch Finale. And now he's just jumping. This is just the square button. And this is the triangle button, spin to win. We got a link attack. And we are building towards that 100% link. And unfortunately, the bots are going to do their SSBAs. Now, You can still do SSBA. Obviously, I changed the SSBA mode too late here, and I just realized I've been calling it SSBA for some reason. I don't know where I got that from. SBA is what it's meant to be called. But the bots use it, so we're gonna go for the full burst using all 4 characters here, but we're not gonna get the primal range because we did not activate Link at 100%. So right here, there's Galanza's SBA, beautiful as usual, full burst. And I think I've taken you through all of my specials except for the square special that I have, which is an attack buff. Also buffs hostility. I'm not entirely sure what that is, but here's the summon I equipped. Here's my icy dude, and as you can see from the bottom right, there's only one button, so there's only attack. Doesn't mean the summon is less powerful though, because this is the final attack once he leaves the stage. Big AoE, even the boss is completely frozen, and this just gives your teammates a big chance to wail on this boss, deal a ton of damage. Even we get to do it for a little bit after we leave the summon. But as we activate 100% Link time, Primal Burst is ready, so if we did SBA now, we would get the big Bahamut Beam. But unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna have the time to build it up all over again. You don't have to do the SBAs during Link time. You just have to do Link time at 100% to activate the Primal Rage, and then any point after that, you will get Lyria to come in and help you out. But this boss is almost dead. I don't think we're gonna get to build it once again. That said, we're gonna have to play defensive for a little bit, hide behind the crystals, because the boss is doing his little icy spin once again. You just wait that out, jump in with my favorite skill from Kalanza so far, go into the X skill as well. The boss gets out of range, so we have to cancel that with a dodge. And now we are gonna summon some crystals from the ground. We gotta be careful with that. Here comes the dashing move. 1, 2, 3, 4. We dodge it this time. Boss is a little dazed after hitting the wall. And those big hammers, I believe, are Magliels. We're going to play Magliel briefly after this mission, because I know some of you are excited for that. So we got to play 2 out of the 6 new characters, but that's how the boss goes down. Little dying animation, and here come the rewards. And you know, this part isn't anything new if you've ever played Relink. We're going to get a few new sigils, a few new materials. I don't know what a lot of these mean, but let's be honest, do we know what all the materials are in Relink? Probably not. Victory for Galanza. I like this character a lot. Might try to build him, but obviously I still want to try everyone else. But up next, we're going to try one of the big updates coming to Endless Ragnarok, which is the new roguelike mode called the Conflux. And from the conversations I had with the dev team, this mode is going to be incredible for leveling up and upgrading your character. They added this mode to boost your progression so you can catch up to your buddies in co-op faster. It's a single player only mode. They said each run should take between 15 to 20 minutes, and unfortunately I don't have a ton of it to show as my session ran out. I guess I spent too long looking at Galanza in the menus, because after going through only a couple of portals, they are gonna call my session over. I picked Magliel for this, and I'm gonna be very honest, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm pressing buttons and things are happening, because these missions, they start as the types of missions where you defeat all these monsters. So hard to know exactly what's going on, because there's just a bunch of numbers popping on screen. There's this ability that seems to be manually aimed, or maybe it's the triangle button, and I don't know what happened, but we clear that, you know? And after you clear that, you pick a buff. We have like critical damage, damage cap, poison damage, or just damage boost, which is what I end up picking. And we move on to the next stage where we can actually pick if we want to go Strife's way and fight an elite, or Dexterity's way, and I don't know what we would get because I didn't pick that path. And as we jump into this next area, there's a bunch of monsters again, but there's also an elite in the back. It is a Quakeadile, and as soon as we start cooking, we get a little perfect dodge and everything. I'm trying to clear up all the mobs before I move on to the Quakeadile right here, but as I'm in the process of doing that, they are gonna tap me on the shoulder and say, hey, time's up, we gotta go do the developer interview, which, you know, we did the developer interview, and that's how I know so much info from what the devs said. But during this pause menu, you can take a little look at her abilities that we had equipped, and also on the bottom left you will see the map of the Conflux. We are now on the second encounter. There's a bunch more encounters ahead of us, including some boss fights in the middle, and after those 2 boss fights and before the final one, there seems to be some kind of recovery stage. Maybe you get to heal, maybe you get to restore your potions or change your summons. I don't know, I didn't get there unfortunately. But luckily, Cygames has sent me an extended look at this game mode with some snippets with different levels, so including a race. So it's not just battles you'll be facing here, a roulette wheel with rewards, and at the end of a run, you actually select the type of material you want to obtain. In this case, the player picked treasure for uncapping weapons. And I believe this is what the devs meant. This is going to be great for getting a ton of materials, and you can choose which kind of materials you want to get out of this. The Conflux also has its own talent tree, so there is permanent progression in this mode too. It's not just for farming materials, meaning the more you run it, the more you get from it. But that was my time with Endless Ragnarok. It's coming out July 9th, and I've already been preparing for it on stream. I'm grinding those Terminus weapons on Bahamut. My god, it is boring as hell. But if you don't want to do that, the Conflux is supposed to be great at catching you up with the new content, so you can just wait for the expansion. That's gonna do it for today, however. As always, thank you very much for watching. My name's Globku, and I'll see you next time. Bye.